Hi again, Panther fans, and welcome to a special edition of the Georgia State Sports Update. Dave Cohen in studio this week as we bring you a special edition of the Georgia State Sports Update, looking back on all the success that these Georgia State programs have had throughout the season. First up, we're going to talk with Georgia State's head football coach Trent Miles. What a run down the stretch for his football team. They close out the regular season with 4 consecutive wins. Had to get a win against Georgia Southern to become bowl eligible. They went down to Statesboro, and they did it. We catch up with head coach Trent Miles about that big Georgia State football win in Statesboro over Georgia Southern. Final score, 34-7. One of the great wins, if not the greatest win to this point, this very short history of this football program on Saturday, Georgia State over Georgia Southern, and the program's first bowl bid. You'll be going to Orlando for the Cure Bowl.
It says a lot about our young men that are in the program and all the assistants that are working with them. We've got great young men, and they would never give in or give up. And any odds that they saw, they knew that they could conquer it. So they went in very confident down there. They never once doubted that they would win the game all week long. And I was actually told by one of our players that early in the week that he felt that we were going to blow them out the way we were focused and dialed in. So I'm very excited for those young men. Just to see the expression on their face on the sidelines when we knew we had it won is priceless, something you'll always remember. You won't always remember all the scores and every single play, but you'll remember the expression on their faces and how happy they were, and I couldn't be more thrilled for them.
Well, Coach, you had the best quote. It took Georgia Southern, I'm quoting you, it took Georgia Southern 34 years to reach a bowl. It took Georgia State 6, only 3 at the FBS level.
I stole that from Charlie Cobb.
No, it's incredible, though. I mean, it's incredible to step back and look at the accomplishment.
Yes, and it says a lot about the administration, the support that we're getting. It says a lot about the student body, a lot about everything about our student athletes and the program, because where it's going. Because the schools that have just started football, startup programs, UT San Antonio, South Alabama, Old Dominion, they were programs that had the same people in place for the 2 years prior to them beginning to play and all the way through now.
Right.
And we've gone through 2 different staffs. And my hat's off to Coach Bill Curry for getting this thing going and starting. And we were able to build on what he started, and we're really thrilled about it. And we're very excited that he's going to join us. He and Carolyn are going to join us for the bowl game. And we're just excited about the direction of our program and all the things it can do for Georgia State University. Not just athletic department, but the university as a whole, and the pride that you take in the university and the exposure that we're going to get at the bowl game.
Real quick, congrats to you, Sun Belt Coach of the Year.
That would be the staff, not me.
Right.
That would be the staff, because they're the ones that do everything. So it's an honor to get those types of accolades, but it goes to the staff, because those are the guys that handle everything, and people are going to get a chance to meet one of the guys on the staff in a few minutes.
Nick Arbuckle, Student Athlete of the Year, Penny Hart, Freshman of the Year, no surprise with those two. First team, you got Nick, Penny, Robert Davis, Taurus Batiste. Second team, Joe Peterson, Keith Rucker, Will Lutz.
And then we'll have some honorable mention players that we're pretty excited about in Donovan Harden, Shandon Sullivan, Shawanye Lawrence, and I think that Bobby Baker. So, or Alonzo McGee. Alonzo McGee made it. So, we're excited about all those guys. And again, it's not just a one-person award. It's when they get that, it's their teammates. Nick doesn't get it if the guys aren't catching it or blocking for him. And Taurus doesn't get it if the D-line's not doing their job. And Joe P doesn't get it if the D-line's not keeping the guys from getting up on him,
sure,
blocking-wise. So it's a team thing. Again, nobody takes it as just an individual award. It belongs to the whole team.
Oh,
A signature win for head coach Trent Miles and that Georgia State football team, again going down to Statesboro, Paulson Stadium, and putting a whooping on the in-state rival Georgia Southern Eagles. What a big win it was. Had to get that number 6 win of the regular season to become bowl eligible. Sure enough, Coach Miles and the Panthers earning their first ever bowl invitation. They faced San Jose State down in Orlando at the Citrus Bowl in the AutoNation Cure Bowl. Another big shot came from the Georgia State men's basketball team. We did a special package on this, and it was R.J. Hunter's big shot to beat the Baylor Bears at the NCAA tournament down in Jacksonville. Head coach Ron Hunter has brought a winning tradition to Georgia State. So far, no shot bigger than the one that his son R.J. hit to beat the Baylor Bears down at the NCAA tournament last season.
Shipes the rebound.
Got to push this to the basket. Take it to the basket, guys. 9 seconds.
No timeouts left.
What are they doing?
R.J. Hunter for 3. Good!
I was like, wow, man, what if this is like legit, like one of those crazy shots that you see for years and years on? Now, you know, it's just me laughing and joking inside my head, but like, it was just crazy. I was like, what if this really does happen? You know, you don't expect that. You don't expect to be there when something like that happens.
We just started to lock in. We started to get stops. The crowd really gravitated towards us. It was almost like a home court advantage for us. I felt bad for Baylor in a way, but I was excited for us in a way because we really took over the stadium and it became a home game for us, and our team really fed off of that. And I think the crowd was a huge part of our success that day.
Well, during the Baylor game, the adversity, we kind of knew what happened. A lot of times when it's your first NCAA tournament game, you know, you're a little rattled. The nerves, the environment, the TV cameras, the media, the fans. I mean, it's for our program that was big and it was huge. So I knew the first 4 or 5 minutes that I was probably going to call a timeout to settle us down. I actually did not want us to get off to a great start because I thought what happens is when young teams get off to a great start, there's nowhere to go but down. And so I thought it was great that we had to work our way back up. Our fans were terrific. Our students were terrific. They kept encouraging. And then when we hit that mountain and we got to the top, we peaked at the right time. Baylor was coming down when we were coming up. And so it was a perfect situation for us in that regards, and it worked out great for us.
So at the start of the game, you didn't have a ton of fans in the building, but you could see it building, and you see it building. And then obviously we got down by 12 with about 3 minutes to play. And, you know, the environment was kind of, it was getting a little quieter. You know, people expected that at that point Baylor was going to win the game and, you know, move on, and there'd be 3 more games in the rest of the day. But as the run started to evolve and RJ started hitting a couple shots and we made a couple steals and got a couple of defensive stops, the buzz started. And obviously we had a great Georgia State fan base that had traveled down for that first game. It was incredible, pulling us on between the students, the alums, the fans.
It was surreal. I mean, I'll never forget that.
After the season ended and I got the chance to soak it in, it was really a memorable time for Georgia State basketball and Georgia State in our community, because at one point in time people here really didn't care for sports, and now you can see the culture change.
When he made it, it wasn't really a surprise to me.
I wasn't in disbelief, but I was excited for the guys because I just know, having played in the NCAA tournament, coached the NCAA tournament before, it's an unbelievable opportunity and something that you'll never forget for the rest of your life.
You know, again, just got to play through it, get our defense set. Now Baylor ended up calling a timeout, so it really helps us get get established. And that's actually how I slipped, because my mind was thinking about, you know, where's the ball, because the official was blocking me out. I was looking at the ball, thinking about a timeout, thinking about not calling it, and those type of things. And I forgot that I was on a stool that tipped me over a little bit.
Technically, I missed the shot because as soon as the ball left his hands, I turned my back to the court and I was bent over in a chair, and then everybody started screaming. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, he made the shot, we're gonna win, and then, yeah, so cool.
And as soon as it goes in, it's over with. I don't even remember what happened. I just was everywhere. That's all I remember. I think I jumped on Dan and my face paint smeared all over it everywhere. I was on the seat, standing in the middle of the seat, just cheering and going let's go, let's go, let's go. And it was just, I was everywhere.
Time stops just for a second and you see this, and it felt like it went quiet in there, and as it goes, just this perfect arc straight into the net, and everything explodes. All the stands explode. Me and Nick, we're just running back and forth down this aisle. We're surrounded by people, and we're just running, screaming like little children.
I think the shot is part of what has been many defining moments for this program. Obviously, in our eyes, the program has been evolving a lot in the last few years. The shot and everything that R.J. Hunter and Coach Hunter and the team was able to accomplish last year took it to another level, where it really made us not only just a regional team or a conference team, but put us on the national level.
What a shot! Ron Hunter tipped over his stool after his son made a three to give Georgia State the lead.
One of the biggest Georgia State athletic events in recent years, and joined now in studio by the guy that was on the sideline across from the radio crew, and he fell out of the stool if you didn't see it as it happened live, but joined in studio by Georgia State's head basketball coach Ron Hunter. And boy, you talk about an event. That is an event for the ages, and really a springboard to everything that's happened. It was a very busy off season for you, and of course it places a lot of expectations too coming into year 5 for you.
Yeah, it was a busy off season, and it was very productive. And last season ended in a terrific way, except for, people forget we still lost that last game. I still wanted there's only one team in the country that wins its last game of the year. But no, it was terrific, and we enjoyed it, and we had a great summer, and now we're ready to get going again.
I remember talking to you on the bus ride back. Team had stopped somewhere in South Georgia to eat, and you and I were waiting in line and kind of reminiscing. I said, Coach, now just realize, in the last 2 years, your basketball team's won 50 games. And for folks that have followed Georgia State basketball over the years, that is a huge, huge accomplishment. It just shows, where this program is now, that in 2 years you're winning 25 games a year and winning a game in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, we're very proud of that. I don't think people understand how difficult that is to do at this level. It's extremely hard to do, and to win 50 games in 2 years that way. But our kids have been very resilient. They've been great. They've been able to breed success. That's one thing about our program. We've found different ways to win basketball games, and it always makes it fun. And we've changed the culture of our program. When I got here, that culture, of course, as you know, wasn't here, and so we've changed that culture of winning, and that's helped our program, and it will help us this year also.
Well, they say winning breeds winning, and you're coming off your second 25-win season. I kind of called it life after the Big Four. RJ, first-round draft pick, your son of the Boston Celtics. Ryan Harrell's playing over in Greece. Curtis Washington has been in Hong Kong, Argentina, NBDL. Ryan Green, going to get his master's, going to work for the Georgia State Athletic Department. Point of all that is that at least in the long time that I've been at Georgia State, never has a coach has to rebuild after losing 3 players who are continuing to play professional basketball post-Georgia State.
Each team, it's a new year. Even last year, at the start of last year, it took time for that team to gel together.
Yeah.
You get teams, and it takes time. You got to be able to figure it out. If you figure it out too early, the problem is you only have one place to go, and that's generally down. And I've had teams like that. You start off great, and all of a sudden you get to February, and you're not peaking, and you're playing bad basketball. And so that's why I like this team. We got some veterans. We got a lot of new guys, and trying to mix the two together is giving me gray hairs right now. But when they put it together, it's going to be really good. I really like this group because of what you just said.
Well, the nice thing too is you go into this season, and again we're already early into the season. You got a nice little core group there with, with Kevin Ware and with Marcus Kreider. As well as some of the new guys you brought in. So, you did bring back a little bit of a core. This is the group that has been a part of what you have been building the last 3-4 years, and just been able to fill it in with some new faces.
Yeah, when you take a look at a guy like TJ, and you take Marcus, and you take Isaiah Dennis, those guys have been around 3 years now, and some of those guys going into their 4th year. Then you got Kevin Ware in his 2nd year. You got Jalen in his 2nd year. So we've got some guys that have understand it. Jordan now in his 2nd year. And then you add the talented people that we've got when you start talking about sitting out, when you got Isaiah Williams and you got Jeremy Hollowell, and then you add your freshmen. And so now you're just trying to blend all that together, and you try to find a perfect mix. And sometimes it's not perfect, especially early. Yeah. And so you're gonna have games where you kind of look like, what's going on. But the funny part is we had a veteran group last year, and this time last year I thought we won't win a game. So that's just part of it, and you kind of keep grinding, you keep getting better. But when you have a culture of winning, that's what we're at right now. You have a culture of this group knows how to win. They know how to win, and they'll continue to do that, and they'll be ready when it's time to be ready, which is in January and February.
And the winning tradition for men's basketball continues at Georgia State. At this taping, through 13 games, Coach Hunter and the Panthers are 10-3. As we turn our attention from men's basketball now to women's volleyball, We talk about Beth Van Fleet. She's a Georgia State alum. She's a former Georgia State volleyball star, and she is the current head coach of the Georgia State Sand volleyball team. And Coach Van Fleet led her squad to the first appearance in the AVCA playoffs in May of 2015. The winning continues in volleyball here at Georgia State University, and we caught up with head coach Beth Van Fleet.
First of all, I have the very best job in the country. With that said, it was a long road getting to where I am now. So coming out of high school, I had several different options to play indoor volleyball on a scholarship. Several of those options were in my home state of Florida. One of them was here at Georgia State, and getting out of Florida, kind of spreading my wings, was very appealing to me. The biggest draw to Georgia State was the team that was here, and then also it was going to be the host site of the Olympics. My career was really interesting. My first year as a freshman, I think we were 9-21, and by my senior year, we were 21-9 and ranked nationally and ranked regionally as well. It was really exciting to be at the start of the program, building the speed that it's gained over the years. Since then, I did graduate. I worked in advertising for a couple of years, and then I kind of changed gears. I took a little bit of an untraditional route getting to the professional level, and then largely that was possible because of what I accomplished here at Georgia State. From the Panther family, from everything, from the people around you who are encouraging you and leading you and guiding you. And for me, that was pivotal to having the confidence and the courage to move out to California where I knew nobody, to start over again at the bottom of the pecking order and know that I could work my way back up. That was quite a fun adventure going out there, but I do think what I took from my years here at Georgia State was learning how to start over and be humble, much like starting out your freshman year and having to earn your way up, and that's very much what we had to do on the Pro Tour. So while I was playing on the AVP tour, there was all these rumors started that beach volleyball was going to be started at the collegiate level. And all of the pros were very, very excited about it because it was going to feed in to our national program so that as a country, America would improve in the beach volleyball scene. As soon as I found out that Georgia State was one of the schools interested in adding sand volleyball at the time, I started calling everybody I knew who was still here. I was still competing at the time, but I was calling people at Georgia State to see what I could do about coming back to help start the beach volleyball program here. Coming off the professional tour and trying to learn the NCAA rules, it's two very contrasting worlds. I was living in a world where it was all about sponsorships and marketing and branding yourself and creating this identity, and then I start working at Georgia State where it's a D1 program and we have NCAA guidelines. So I really had to learn the rules quickly and kind of adjust how I had proceeded the 8 years prior. Coming back home to Georgia State was so comforting and also extremely challenging. It was nerve-wracking in the sense of I was going to be wearing the coach's shirt now instead of the jersey with the number on it. It was on me to make sure that these student athletes have a wonderful experience here at Georgia State, that they learn how to play better sand volleyball or beach volleyball, that they learn how to be great people, that they learn how to strive in the classroom for A's or B's. So it was a much different management role than leading one team as a player on the team. It was now trying to guide and motivate and lead the team. But to come back and put on the coach's hat was an absolute chilling experience, and it was very much a dream come true on many levels for me. Making it to the national championship last year was very much a reflection of the hard work that our student athletes have put in over the last 2 years. We started with a group of 12 young ladies, and I would say about 8 of them had never really played beach volleyball before. It was a huge learning curve for them, and to accomplish what we did last year was phenomenal, but we have even bigger shoes to fill this year.
Another coach building a winning program at Georgia State, the men's soccer coach, Brett Surrency, and what a year they had. And we welcome Coach Surrency into the studios to be with us on our show late in the season as he led his men's soccer team here at Georgia State into the Sun Belt Conference Tournament Finals. Welcome into the studio, Brett Surrency, the head coach of the men's soccer team, just back from Boone, North Carolina, advancing into the Sun Belt Championship. Congrats. You didn't get the result you wanted, but in the end, a pretty good season. I mean, you reached the championship in the Sun Belt Conference. So you got to be pleased and proud of your guys for that accomplishment.
Yeah, one step further than we were last year. I think when you look at the youth of the team this year too, there's definitely a lot of positives. The future is bright and the foundation is very secure moving forward. But it's a tough pill to swallow. We thought we were very good right now. So not getting the result we wanted to, which was ultimately the conference championship, is still a little sour. That happened on Sunday, and it's still still close. But we'll move on from it and be better for it and use the experience moving down the road.
Well, late in the season, some good and some bad. You closed out the season with 3 consecutive wins, UNC Asheville, Howard, and a win over, or a penalty kick win over Georgia Southern. And, that gives you a little momentum going in to the Sun Belt tournament and then ultimately the championship game.
Yeah, we did finish strong. We traveled a lot this year, so I think the last couple games, getting back home and then going to finish the regular season at Georgia Southern before going into the conference tournament was big. The guys were put on a good brand and were able to get the job done in the last couple games, and I definitely think that pushed us into the conference tournament to have the success that we did, and we made things interesting once we got there.
All right, and a little bit now about the championship game, because this sounds like it was a crazy game. They got up early with a goal, 5.5 minutes in, but the thing that stuck out, 26 total fouls, 13 on each team. Georgia State, I don't know what was going on, 7 yellow cards and 1 red card, which cost you a player.
Yeah, the refereeing was interesting, to say the least. There were some game-changing calls that seemingly didn't go for us. But yeah, a lot of that was just being competitive, I think. The guys on both sides were competing very hard, and as you would expect for a championship game and the opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament. So, as many fouls as there were and the yellow cards that were produced, it wasn't a malicious game by any means. We were certainly unfortunate to have the red card and virtually play down a man for 50 minutes. But, I tell you what, the pride that I walked away from the field on that day with the last 50 minutes and the energy and the effort that our guys put into the game, playing a man down is some of the best moments I've had as a coach, to be honest with you. So in terms of moving forward, we can hold on to that, and the guys returning will be able to share those experiences, and I think it'll be better for us in the future.
As you said, one step further than you were able to get a year ago. You've only got 5 seniors on this team. What's the outlook with what you're bringing in and with the guys returning? I mean, now that they have a little bit of that experience, a little bit of the taste of what it's like, to reach the pinnacle that they reached this year. Obviously, it's everybody's goal. They want to get back again next year and finish the job.
I think there was just enough success this year to, 1, be really positive about the future, but 2, really yearn for more. And anytime you get to a championship game and you don't get that desired result, it sticks with you for a while. And I think as a coaching staff, that's definitely something that we can use as motivators as we go into the spring. But, you look at our team, for the majority of the year, we started 5 to 6 freshmen and 1 to 2 sophomores. So, those seniors that we lose are certainly influential, and we will miss them. But, the guys that we're able to gain experience as young players will only benefit them moving forward. And it'll be our jobs as coaches to continue to push them and get them to improve and to bring players in here that will, fight and make things competitive. So it's exciting. It's disappointing right now, but once we get over that, we'll know that moving forward, we've got a great nucleus, a great foundation, and Georgia State men's soccer is definitely thriving.
All right, Brett, appreciate you coming in. Congrats on what turned out to be a great season. A little short of where you wanted to finish, but you got there. But, overall, you'll look back a great season.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dave.
Well, with 22 players returning as well as some incoming recruits, we'll keep up with Coach Brett Sorensen and that soccer team and follow their progress to see if they can advance again to the Sun Belt Conference Tournament Championship and hopefully get the NCAA bid out of the Sun Belt Conference. Back to Georgia State football, the program that head coach Trent Miles and his coaching staff are building made quite a jump this year, winning their final 4 games of the regular season, the big win over Georgia Southern, and of course, notching their first bowl invitation. They took part in the AutoNation Cure Bowl down in Orlando, Florida, brought to you by the Florida Hospital, and the cameras of GSU TV were there to take it all in.
It was the will of the students.
The reality of it is we started the season really just trying to hope we could win some games.
You don't remember all the scores and all the games, but you remember all the people in that locker room.
We've come in just an incredible distance in not very much time at all. Couldn't be more proud and more excited.
Regardless of the outcome in tonight's game, Georgia State is a winner here today.
My most vivid memory is driving up and down 75 and 85 looking for lights, meaning football stadiums. I was looking for a field for us to practice, and we couldn't find one. We didn't have an office. We didn't have a football. We didn't have a helmet. We had to start literally at ground zero and build.
We call ourselves all the misfits. Nobody wanted these guys.
At the halfway mark, we were still questioning
something happened going into that Ball State game. They began to trust one another.
You get knocked down, you got two choices. You can lie there and wallow, or you can get yourself up and do what you're supposed to.
Winning at Georgia Southern the way they won at Georgia Southern, getting to 6 wins, and making a bowl game in just their 6th season is an incredible, incredible accomplishment.
Georgia State football can really explode as a power in the non-Power 5. Everything's in place now.
It's a very bright future for the football program.
We invite you to join us next week right here. The Georgia State Sports Update will present the entire program, brought to you by GSU TV, of Burning Blue. It chronicles the rise of the Georgia State University football program from 6 years ago right up through participating in the AutoNation Cure Bowl down in Orlando. It will feature interviews with current head football coach Trent Miles, as well as the program's first head coach, Bill Curry. So we invite you to join us next week for Burning Blue. And for the entire crew, I'm Dave Cohen. Again, thanks for watching. It's the Georgia State Sports Update.